What happens when a deadly tree scorpion invades a green ant kingdom? It's a call to arms, to defend the empire. This plant is about to become green ant territory. In less than a day, they will swarm over its leaves and bend them to their will. It's empire building by an incredible society that thinks as one.
Colonies are interesting things. This is where hundreds of individuals behave like a single organism.
They may think as one, but they're divided into specialist teams. There are workers, porters, guards, and beneath this swarm of servants, a queen.
In an ant colony, the queen is by far the most valuable thing. She sits there day in, day out, pumping out hundreds of eggs.
Construction on the queen's castle is underway. It's an ambitious undertaking, but every green ant is a born engineer with equipment to match. Up front, its mandibles are like a hydraulic press, lined with razor teeth. On a human scale, they could lift a 7-ton truck. In the ants' world, they can slice off a limb or hold up a roof.
Imagine us being able to lift something hundreds of times our body weight using just our mouth.
With their jaws and legs, ants become heavy machinery, pulling massive leaves into a cocoon. For adhesive, they use silk spun from larvae, carried around like living bags of glue. But this Army Corps of Engineers isn't just building a new kingdom, they're defending it. For other bugs, it's become a no-go zone. Any breach is met with overwhelming force.
The strength of green ants is in numbers. While some of them will pin the prey down, others will come by and bite it over and over and over again until it's defeated.
Like a crack commando unit, a squad immobilizes the beetle, while others start slicing it up. Green ants can capture and butcher a beast in just minutes. But some creatures can be too hot to handle. Like this killer, descended from the first bugs to crawl on land 300 million years ago. The tree scorpion. It's a wily opponent, built for a quick kill. It has size and sting on its side.
It captures prey by stinging it with this venom, grabbing it with the pinchers, and then tearing it apart and eating it.
The tree scorpion stalks the lower rainforest canopy. There's nowhere it's scared to go. It fears no one.
Scorpions are hunters. Scorpions will basically take whatever they're able to successfully capture. Insects, other scorpions, they'll attack a wide range of different animals. Insects, spiders, but also one of the things that's most notable about scorpions is that scorpions are major predators on other scorpions. In fact, scorpions may be the most important predator on other scorpions.
Its confidence and lethal advantage come from supersensitive hairs on its legs and body. The slightest movement registers, even the flap of a fly's wing. And leading it straight to the kill zone are sensors beneath its body called pectines.
These pectines, think of them as combs, are extremely sensitive to substrate vibration. So as they're walking along, these combs are responding to vibrations from the ground. As they walk, these touch the ground. In addition, the pectines are probably at least somewhat sensitive to chemical and odor cues and are picking up information from the environment. They don't have particularly good vision. They almost certainly are responding to light and dark, but they're clearly not locating prey visually.
This cricket came too close. It landed on a branch. The vibrations and the cricket's telltale chemical compounds alerted the scorpion. And in no time, the cricket became the main menu item on its predator's outdoor dinner table. The tree scorpion has bizarre table manners. Its mouth has claws. This creature knows how to look after itself in the rainforest. But how will it fare in a border dispute? Nearby, the ant empire is expanding overnight. The tree scorpion's territory is under threat. And any dispute will quickly turn into all-out war.
When a green ant colony attacks a much larger animal, anything that can be bitten will be bitten.
When green ants invade your territory, they don't negotiate. They simply arrive in their thousands and start building an empire. There's no diplomacy, no discussion. They owe allegiance only to their queen.
Green ants are extremely territorial. They will protect their queen at all costs.
The tree scorpion shows no such respect for the queen, nor her faithful subjects. It's been spotted by a lone scout. It's David versus Goliath. But no one's told the green ant. No matter how futile the attack, it's programmed to lock on to its foe. The scout is easily dispatched, but it has sent out a chemical distress signal. It's like sounding an air raid siren inside the colony.
The defensive strategy of the green ants is built all around teamwork, sending out chemical messages that'll bring in lots of ants. You'll have hundreds of them pouring into that one area.
The colony mobilizes for war. Soldiers head out to meet the invader. The tree scorpion tries to beat a retreat, but it's surrounded.
This is where the real fight begins. Once the green ants start operating as a team, their effectiveness takes an exponential leap. It's a case of 1 + 1 = 3.
Ant numbers swell quickly. Each attaches itself, trying to outmaneuver the giant intruder. Sensing an advantage, the ants deploy their weapon of mass destruction, a cloud of formic acid. Sprayed from each ant's abdomen, the cloud is like pouring molten lava on the scorpion's wounds. It lashes out, and its victims are piling up. Medic ants deal with the wounded. But more soldiers swarm in to replace the dead and dying. The onslaught overcomes the scorpion's last defenses.
The ants are able to hold on to different parts of the scorpion so it isn't able to sting. There's a limit to how many it's able to grab with its pinchers.
The scorpion is pinned, helpless. The ants then set about dismembering their victim, chewing through its joints. They start carrying away the ultimate trophy of war, the scorpion's stinger. There's nothing their victim can do. Once it loses its sting, its fight is over. Many ants have made the ultimate sacrifice. That's how the colony works. One individual dies, an empire is defended. Long live the queen. When a giant rhinoceros beetle encounters a swarm of voracious meat ants, it's a conflict that will end in blood. Rhinoceros beetles are like tanks on the bug battlefield. They're among the biggest of all the beetles, titans of the bug world.
Rhinoceros beetles aren't misnamed. They're big, they're kind of clumsy, but they have a thick, heavy, sclerotized exoskeleton that is incredibly hard to pierce. It covers most of their body, and the rhinoceros beetles are awesomely strong.
On a power-to-weight ratio, these battle bugs are the strongest animals on the face of the earth.
It's estimated that a rhinoceros beetle is able to push or carry as much as 850 times its body weight. We're talking that a human could lift as much as 65 tons. This is a crazy heavy amount that this rhinoceros beetle is able to carry.
For all its brute force, this monster mostly eats rotting fruit, which provides all the fuel it needs to wrestle a rival.
The males and the males alone have these big horn-like structures that act like levers.
Each male has two forked horns, one on the head, the other on the top of the prothorax. As a weapon, they work like a pair of sharp tongs to catch and dispatch an opponent. When two males come to blows, the reason is always the same. They both want the turf and the ladies.
If he's got a pile of rotting fruit near a log, he'll try to defend this spot and hope that females come in. The male uses his horns as a lever and is able to flip other males off the log.
But for all his brutish ways, the rhinoceros beetle has one surprising trick up his sleeve. He can fly.
The rhinoceros beetle almost transforms itself when it gets ready to fly. It opens its forewings in a click and then lumbers into flight. These are not great flyers.
It takes to the air with all the grace you'd expect from a tank with wings. Still, it's a talent that could save its life. And he may need an escape strategy if he strays into meat ant territory. One single ant isn't much of a threat. But where you find one, you'll find many.
Individual nests can contain tens of thousands of ants, but they're often linked together into super colonies that can contain hundreds of thousands or more.
Meat ants don't sting, but they bite with a vengeance, with mandibles honed like steel shears to rip through raw flesh. For the victim, it's death by 1,000 cuts.
The ants just swarm over whatever they're attacking, and all those tiny little jaws keep snipping and snipping and snipping until it's history. They can make an animal much larger than them run for the hills.
Whenever a meat ant is moving, it's hunting. And there are many mouths to feed.
Meat ant colonies have multiple queens, all pumping out larvae that need to be fed. This is why the colonies are always on the hunt. They just have so many larvae back at home screaming for energy-rich food.
And when they go hunting, meat ants will go on the attack at any time. These soldiers join forces at a moment's notice. News of a conflict spreads fast through the troops.
When an intruder stumbles into the ants' area, the message goes out very, very quickly. It literally spreads like wildfire.
Vibration and touch play their parts. But specific chemical signals, pheromones, are the real key to communication.
Before you know it, a swarm is on the way, ready to defend against anything.
In the eternal tussle for insect supremacy, some bugs are Goliaths, and some more like Davids with a bad attitude.
Meat ants are really kind of ill-behaved ants. These are aggressive ants that are perfectly willing to attack. They're scary ants.
Meat ants are active in daylight, while rhinoceros beetles get busy at night. But there's sometimes a crossover hour. It's early morning, and a tank-like vegetarian blunders into meat ant territory. The alarm goes out through the colony.
The ants have sent out the chemical signal to call in further reinforcements. So if the beetle's in trouble now, soon he's going to be in even bigger trouble.
As the ants start nipping at his heels, he loses his balance and falls onto the nest. The beetle's best defense is its impenetrable armor.
Really, the only places where these ants are going to be able to get in and bite at the rhinoceros beetle effectively is at its joints.
And that's where the ants attack in force. The beetle tries to escape. He needs to get clear to fly away. But carrying vicious ants as excess baggage, he can't get to the runway.
The best thing it could do is fly away, but it gets ready to fly really slowly.
The ants dig deeper now. They crawl inside the skin of their prey, spraying formic acid. Savagely and relentlessly, dozens of mandibles are biting the beetle to death.
At this point, the beetle's armor is useless. The ants are going to crawl into every crevice they can and bite him into oblivion.
In this battle, size becomes a disadvantage. A lumbering armored tank is no match for armor-piercing infantry. When a green-bellied huntsman tackles a colony of jumping jack ants, it's a clash of the titans. If an army is only as strong as its weakest soldier, then a squad of jumping jack ants is a force to be reckoned with. Small in size, big on attitude. They're tough and powerful from head to tail.
Even though these are small ants, they are really fierce ants. They've got a strong, potent sting that really packs a punch.
Barely 1/3 of an inch long, jumping jack ants fight well above their weight and deliver a mean punch from both ends. At the front, large serrated mandibles that bite, grip, and slash.
These mandibles can pack a nasty bite, but this is nothing compared to the sting that they have at the back end that is capable of injecting a truly nasty venom that can incapacitate or kill prey very quickly.
With a stinger on the end of its extraordinarily agile tail, the jumping jack can deliver toxic proteins in repeated stings. Powerful enough to induce fatal allergic reactions in humans. The venom is usually reserved for smaller prey, like cockroaches, march flies, and grasshoppers.
You would think that these ants are going out and capturing prey for themselves. That isn't so. Actually, these jumping jack ants live on nectar, a little bit of sugar water. Primarily, they're bringing back the prey to feed the developing ant larvae that need meat in order to grow.
The larvae are hidden away in nests built with soil. Nests are often constructed under rocks or tree roots. Away from the nest, a jumping jack ant forages alone. Its never-ending job is to bring home the bacon, no matter how cumbersome. It's a pit bull and pack horse rolled into one.
These jumping jack ants are really strong ants. They can be grabbing prey, holding onto them with their mandibles, and at the same time, even as the prey is fighting them, they can keep moving them gradually toward their colony.
The jumping jack ant has one more astonishing skill. Like a super action hero, it leaps tall branches in a single bound. But it's not the only bug in this forest with superhero status. The green-bellied huntsman is an arch-villain, not afraid to show its true colors.
If you look at this spider's belly or the joints of its legs, you'll see that it's a beautiful blue-green color. That's because they have a very different form of blood than humans, and they use this blood to pump up their legs, and if the blood pressure drops, the legs will go limp, just like a hose would when you turn the faucet off.
With their hydraulically assisted takeoff, green bellies are super fast, all-terrain hunters with the will to kill. This huntsman also keeps a low profile. Camouflaged 1 minute, prowling the next. A stealthy loner in search of other speedy spiders. This unsuspecting wolf spider is taken down before it knew what hit it. The green belly's vicious fangs rip into its body, mashing it up.
The green-bellied huntsman's fangs are large and powerful. So once they've been driven into a prey, there are no second chances.
For an accomplished hunter, a large, solitary foe is an easy target. But what happens when the green flash encounters a warring gang of jumping jack ants?
It's facing a bunch of pesky little ants. There's not much to bite onto, and even if it kills one or several, there's more coming.
On the forest floor, a low-slung superhero is about to face a team of brutal base jumpers.
Big mandibles, good vision, and they jump. And they're able to jump relatively long distances. The thing is even though these are small ants, they are really fierce ants.
This is jumping jack territory. An underground nest and a patch of forest where they forage for food to feed their larvae. The green-bellied huntsman is hungry too, and it's waiting for a kill. But it's been spotted by a lone jumping jack ant. It launches at the interloper. The green flash grabs it and sinks in its fangs. But the jumping jack gets in a well-timed sting. Toxic proteins, 4 times more potent than bee venom, target cells in critical organs, partially paralyzing the huntsman. Worse still, the alarm has been sounded back at the colony. More ants rush in. The spider manages to crush one in its jaws, but has been stung again.
Jumping jack ants are really quite aggressive, and they're not going to back off just because a single ant has been killed. This is ant behavior. Once they start attacking, they keep going.
The ants work as a team, creating a diversion up front, while one stings the disabled spider from the rear. Even more powerful venom floods into the green belly's body. As toxins begin destroying the spider's internal organs, the once pumped up and powerful legs dangle uselessly. Still, the jumping jacks attack. Mandibles slash the spider. A blister of green blood swells from a gash in the abdomen. Still attacking with their razor-sharp mandibles, the jumping jack ants lap up the green belly's lifeblood.
And we thought only vampires drank blood. The ants are lapping up the spider's blood without a second thought. This is a very undignified way to go out.
Like a team of undertakers, the jumping jack ants began removing the body. The victory feast will be held back at the colony.
The advantage of being a social insect is that many animals can help carry this spider back to the colony.
In a bug battle, There's no such thing as an invincible superhero. Make one slip, and you're dead meat. When dinosaur ants take on a trapjaw ant colony, heads will roll. A rainforest log has become a new home to a small colony of dinosaur ants. What they lack in numbers, they make up in attitude and stature.
Dinosaur ants are really huge ants. They're some of the biggest ants in the world. They're somewhere between an inch to an inch and a half in size.
Those dinosaur-sized mandibles are just as adept at fetching and carrying nectar droplets as they are at gripping, stripping, and shredding their prey. If those mandibles weren't fearsome enough, under the abdomen, a deadly stinger packs a fatal punch. A katydid unwisely ventures into the neighborhood. In dinosaur territory, trespassers aren't prosecuted. They're dismembered.
When they capture small prey, they may just grab it with the mandibles, cut it in two, and carry it back to the colony.
These ruthless raiders will protect their colony against all comers. They may need to. A few feet below, a colony of trapjaw ants moves in. Construction of a new nest is underway. Prolific workers, strong in numbers, trapjaw ants run a ruthlessly efficient killing machine. A passing spider is carved up and carted off to feed the colony's hungry larvae. These trapjaws are proficient builders 1 minute, brutal butchers the next. Lightning-quick jaws on a hair trigger spring shut with an acceleration 100,000 times the force of gravity.
We're talking fully open to fully closed in 0.13 of a millisecond, which means they're traveling at about 145 miles an hour.
They're not the only weapon. Needle-sharp stingers loaded with toxic venom bring down most competitors.
The sting is also very deadly, and they can use it over and over again. So they can sting, back off, and keep doing this over and over until the prey or the enemy just keels over dead.
The trapjaws are the neighbors from North, and the dinosaur ants want them gone. Before the day's end, there will be war. On a Costa Rican jungle floor, enterprising trapjaw ants are intent on building a new home. Up above, resident dinosaur ants resent the intruders. They're about to declare war. With their dominant size and vicious bite, dinosaur ants break competitors with ease. But the team spirit and cutthroat tactics of the trapjaws could overcome their enemy.
Both of the ant species are very capable fighters, and they're both armed to the hilt. No matter what happens, there's going to be mass casualties, and it's anyone's guess who will back down first.
A dinosaur ant scout scopes out the enemy. It's intercepted by a forward party of biting trapjaw ants. But the dinosaur's sheer size and huge mandibles win this skirmish. Dinosaur ant reinforcements arrive.
It's clear that they've decided that offense is the best strategy in this situation. They might end up regretting it, but the battle is on.
Angry trapjaws swarm the newcomers, hacking and spearing. As the meltdown continues, each side attempts to gain the upper hand. But it soon becomes clear the trapjaws have far superior strategies.
Every time an ant is killed or injured, a distinct chemical signal goes off. And it seems that the trapjaw ants are better at responding in mass, so that might just tilt the battle in their favor.
The conflict escalates. And the corpses pile up in both camps. But the trapjaws have the numbers.
These battles between neighboring colonies can go on for well over half an hour, and usually one group is able to establish dominance over the other, and the losers back off and move away.
The dinosaur ants have suffered too many casualties. They're a small colony. To fight on would be fruitless. The dinosaur ants retreat to their log to lick their wounds. And in the ceasefire, the trapjaws turn their weapons of war back into tools of the trade and resume their building. The neighbors from hell are here to stay. It's a battle worthy of the big screen. Above the ground, a high-rise militia goes through its maneuvers. Its headquarters is a leafy bunker, home not to generals, but to green ant larvae, who could one day become soldiers in an ever-expanding army.
Green ant colonies are generally spread around a dozen trees that might contain up to 150 nests, with 100,000 to 500,000 ants total, all of which will risk life and limb to protect the colony.
Every one of these workers comes equipped with weapons of war, serrated mandibles that cut and crush. As in all ant societies, male drones stay at home, leaving this army of sterile females to forage for food. But at the first sign of war, chemicals called pheromones are sent out. Foragers become green grunts, and more move into the kill zone. Even a huge and highly venomous scorpion is no match for a company of angry green ants.
For green ants, defense is all about strength in numbers. They will just keep sending more and more troops out until whatever they're battling with is either gone or they kill it and carry it away for dinner.
Green ants also deploy chemical weaponry. Formic acid that burns organic tissue sprays from their abdomens. If that weren't bad enough, they swarm over a victim, literally biting it to death. A grasshopper many times bigger than one ant is no match for a seething mass of foot soldiers.
When the workers are called to arms, you're no longer dealing with a bunch of cute and fascinating little green ants. Rather, they become like this unstoppable organic plasma that can deter any predator, whether it's coming from the ground or the air.
Victims become helpless marionettes, dancing to the tune of a swarm of single-minded puppeteers. Below this treetop bunker, with its elite soldiers, another force has moved in. A colony of paper wasps. In a skirmish, they use their aerial maneuverability like a weapon. Paper wasps don't fly fast, but they hover with intent, like attack helicopters, waiting to strike and feed.
Paper wasps are really important because they kill so many pest species of caterpillars. The adults are active for anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe 3 weeks. They spend all of their time going out and foraging to kill the caterpillars.
Like the ants, most of the wasp foraging force are sterile females, with heavy artillery at the front and some big guns at the rear.
Unlike bees that can only sting once, these wasps can sting repeatedly.
But paper wasps don't rely just on firepower. They have tactical coordination down to a fine art.
Wasps are actually really smart. They're capable of complex learning. They've got excellent vision.
Like green ants, adult paper wasps hunt and kill only to feed their larvae. Their own survival depends on it. Wasps feed the larvae with captured caterpillars. In turn, the larvae produce nutrient-rich saliva that's fed back to the adults. Life goes on in the paper wasp nest and the green ant colony. It's live and let live. But nature is fickle. One unfortunate windstorm can smash one bug civilization up against another without warning.
This is two insect civilizations at war. And no matter who wins, both sides are going to suffer massive losses.
In the rainforest, it's the calm before the storm. But as the weather worsens, a tree branch, home to a green ant colony, is flung against a paper wasp nest. War is declared. Wasps mobilize their airborne troops. Gangs of green ants swarm over individual wasps.
Green ants have a major tactical advantage here because they can team up very efficiently against an individual wasp, but the wasps can't work together against an individual ant.
The ants lay pheromone trails and shake their bodies to communicate and coordinate their attack. Without the ants' superior teamwork, the wasps are at a disadvantage. But one-on-one, a larger wasp overpowers a single ant. Some are thrown to the ground. Others killed instantly. But in ant battle tactics, strength lies in numbers. Individual wasps are pinned down, sprayed with formic acid, and bitten ferociously. Alone, they have no answer to a combined attack.
The wasps are so much larger than the ants, and they're not cooperating the same way. They're all actively defending the area, but the ants are able to gang up and pull on different legs. So an individual wasp may have multiple ants attacking it.
A raiding party of green ants bursts into the paper wasp nursery. Here, wasp guards defend their larvae by biting and stinging.
The wasp's sting is great against bigger animals, but it's pretty hard for a wasp to effectively sting one ant. And even though wasps are able to sting repeatedly, it's really hard for them to sting one ant, sting another ant, sting another ant.
The green ants may have the upper hand, but now the wasps retaliate. Mounting a concerted airborne attack, they breach the ants' headquarters and begin carrying off the ant brood. More and more wasps overwhelm the ant's nest. It's a mass attack. Under the onslaught, green ants scurry to save their young. It's carnage. The battlefield is littered with the wounded, the dying, and the dead.
All either colony can do is pick up the pieces and start over again.
The wasps' superior airborne maneuverability and their preemptive strike on the ant's nest tips the balance. They overcome their assailants, but at enormous cost. Defeated, the green ants sound the retreat. Their bunker is torn apart. They scramble to salvage the surviving larvae. In a bug war of this magnitude, the refugees have no choice but to escape with their young, to start a new life in another part of the forest.